attack it. You can be very quick. You can attack each site from multiple angles. As you said before, a lot of times on border you want to play below. But
I mean, it's hit and miss. I feel like the strategy of playing on the bottom floor while defending the top floor, it sees circulation, right? It's cyclical, as we've talked about before. Sometimes teams will hunt the roamers, sometimes the roamer won't exist, and they will, and sometimes they won't, and so the roamer can have free reign. I mean, it all just depends on what your opponent is willing to do and what they read you doing. So, both of the Season 2 operators gone, and a Lion as well. So a lot of information just not existing for the defenders there, and even reinforced by a Miraban. That is huge. So it's going to be a very blind defense here. I'm sure we'll see a lot of clash play because of that. You're going to need her in order to figure out your opponents in the early stages of any defensive round. And maybe not. I mean, you could also substitute, of course, with the Maestro. Echo is also unbanned, so that's still in play. And you've got sufficient information denial with mute if placed in the right positions. Castle also being brought out as we are going to ventilation workshop. So that is telling of a defense on the top floor. Pulse as well seeing play. And because your defenders are going to be on the top floor, you can put Pulse underneath and he'll be safe in sight, and he could still do a lot of damage with this C4. You can also open up a rotation into the bathroom, and that opens up the opportunities for that pulse-related vertical play.
yeah, and I mean, you know that there's going to be a pulse whenever Team Secret is playing on defense. That is one of Meepy's most played or Lackey's most played operators, I apologize. Lackey as well, running the Lion consistently on attack. So that's a direct counter to the way that you know Team Secret plays, though we've seen a couple strategies from Millenium coming out involving a Lion as well, possibly with Renshiro or Liven playing on that role, maybe even Hicks. Renshiro, by the Blackbeard being banned, is a direct counter. Blackbeard sees a lot of usage on border, and then on top of that, Renshiro happens to be a pretty damn good one at that. We'll start on ventilation and workshop to start things off on the main floor.
Interesting reinforcements here. You can see Millenium's trying to draw a line in the sand down the middle of the map with those reinforced walls and castle barricades. And it's going to give them a little bit of a kind of a wall to back themselves up against if they need to, as well as prompting when Secret starts to apply pressure. Where do you need to point your barrel? Very important question, and will often, if you have the answer, result in a better result for you and your team.
So Customs will be probably the first focus for most of Secret. They'll get the detention wall, and they've got the dual hard breach capabilities of both a Maverick as well as a Thermite. But I mean, we do denote that Leon Gids on that Maverick, he's not exactly your typical hard breacher, but he is a pretty good fragger, and there you go. Rise, one of the best players in all of the French region, as that Jaeger will be picked off early as a C4 gets tossed out, and Hicks, a beautiful refrag onto a Lems.
That was really a well-placed C4. The mechanics of that momentum-based projectiles absolutely down pat. And you said, you know, we have a Renshiro peeking out through the front door. That's very dangerous. You can see he's playing around that mute jammer. He knows that he's not going to be droned out immediately, but it's still such a risk to just peek brazenly like that. It could easily result in his death. And Steezy trying to find out if there is somebody in fact in B, but he's going to hit that mute jammer, of course. Nice shot from Aces on the long angle, taking off Lackey's head, and he will put his team now in the advantage, but Leon immediately refrags onto Hicks, and a nice shot even coming out in the chat. Must have been an impressive one on a very tight angle. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it. A minute left though, and 3-on-3, so both teams as evenly matched as we had theorized.
So Leon Gids with 2 kills on his own. Aces inside a bathroom is still ensconced in there and can possibly work his way out, but no, he's not going to get through that. Leon Gids will pick up a 3rd kill. That's a 3K for him. As the Maverick, not really using his gadget as need be, but just able to behead people as see fit. Both the umps of Millenium will go in there as the UMPs of Super Liven and Renshiro get a kill, and Liven will be felled by Meepy in a 1v1. Meepy does not hold that diffuser. He's got 30 seconds to go retrieve it outside by the ventilation window. Maybe taking his time, possibly even going to go frag chasing here, but you're going to have to hasten your advance. Renshiro is just around half HP, so he's 1 or 2 shots, but there you have it. Renshiro will lose that fight. Just looking a little bit too high, and Meepy lights up the body and then hits the head of Renshiro to finish it. Secret with round number 1.
You know, Leon really opened that up for his team there. And you mentioned how he's not typically the hard breacher, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. But I actually got to play some matches with Leon, I think yesterday, and when he was playing Maverick, there was one thing I really noticed about his excellent play with Maverick was that he can so efficiently do a 1 magazine crouch hole with the blowtorch. It's actually really beautiful to get to see him do it because it's so practiced. It's so clearly practiced. You can tell that he went into a custom game for hours and hours and hours trying to get it right. The timing is really difficult, and I think it's all about the pace, but he is seemingly going to be one of the new, I think the Maverick main for Team Secret, and as a team, I think they've managed to utilize that operator fairly well. Definitely something for other teams to keep a keen eye on in the future.
Absolutely. So we saw that Secret played their game there. It was very thoughtful. It wasn't naturally aggressive. The most aggressive player on Secret is likely going to be Leon Gids. Sometimes on defense, he has a bit of a penchant for over-peaking, and he necessarily might not be best served by doing so.
Yeah.
Millenium being very aggressive on their attack, but on defense, more stalwart, and having Aces play inside of the bathroom downstairs was a great place to be, but he just simply got defeated by a nice shot through 2 separate soft walls that have been opened up. I don't think he was anticipating that angle being held against him. Right call for Meepy as well to bother to take the fight instead of fetch that diffuser, as he would have been very vulnerable, knowing that Renshiro probably under watch somewhere. Team Secret does a very good job of stashing their drones, more so than a lot of other teams. They're very particular about it, and being able to give that information later in the round can be crucial, especially when you find yourself in a numbers disadvantage.
Leon started to try and get control of the east stairs as a start. This makes a lot of sense. East stairs, if you didn't know, if you haven't watched CG Sports very much, is a very pivotal position for the attackers. If you can take it, you can deny a whole flank from half of the map by isolating those stairs and watching them. That's definitely going to be a priority for Team Secret. Lackey already inside a fountain, pushing his way towards the armory. He's trying to get that control upstairs. Aces will run out onto a Lems. After Rise had eaten a couple of bullets, Ace is there to support him. And you talked about the aggressive playstyle that Millenium has been rallying behind, thanks to Aces being added to the team. And that's exactly what we see highlighted just now.
Yeah. So, losing the Glass early on, even though Rise will lose a lot of his HP. That was Rise taking the first engagement as well in round number 1, but loses his life just over the head of the mute here. Renshiro, I don't know if he heard it or not, but he puts his back to the wall, and as Leon Gids and him will just decide to part ways amicably. Leon Gids running all the way down towards the east stairs, and Renshiro now, I think he sees the hole there. He's going to use it to his advantage as detention wall will go. I think they tried to impact trick it from Hicks, but he might have missed. It certainly looked like the smoke was equipped with an impact, and that is correct, but they weren't successful in stopping the thermite charge.
Renshiro and Ace is still able to play upstairs in CCTV. Now, custom defense heavily relies on holding CCTV. If you can do so successfully as defense, you're, well, likely to be successful in the round as a whole. Now, Leon going to push his way down and try to use this hold to get an angle onto any potential defenders, and Ace is vaulting unaware of the hold that Leon's had made, will lose his life. CZ is able to push his way in and is going for the defuse plant. There is vertical pressure being applied right now by Millenium, but they're unable to deny the defuse plant, and that's going to put Team Secret in a great spot. Now, all they need to do is hold the post. Leon Gids, nice kill there onto Livent, and as the pickup comes, we will have Rise back in play. Millenium still in a position to retake, but as Lackey gets Rise thanks to a well-placed Claymore, it's looking worse and worse as the round continues to play out. Leon using more of his murder holes to try and get a kill, but Renshiro will answer back. A nice shot through the barricade to secure Leon finally But so little time and 3 targets yet to find. Renshiro in a bad spot. As he goes for the shots up to the drop down, he's so distracted it's unable to deny the defuse. And Meepy will also get that final kill. Team Secret take round number 2.
Leon Gids has been just an unstoppable force for these 2 rounds, being able to not just put a lot of worry into the heads of Millenium by using that blowtorch to open up castle barricades or holes in the walls, but also then to able to frag so well. They pushed aces and flushed him through customs, through that little passport office, or the customs check office, and then Leon was just there waiting. It was a great play to be able to corral one of the most powerful defenders for Millenium.
I'm telling you, man, Leon on Maverick is a scary friggin' thing. And the reason is, you can open up anything you want. Now, you don't have a whole lot of range, you leave yourself exposed, but you're silent when you're doing it. And it's just, it's lethal when in the right hands. I think Leon is going to be one of those one of those sets of hands to get to finally like figure out Maverick early on. And he's certainly displaying that so far in this match. 2 rounds played and 2 for Team Secret. Not just thanks to Leon, but also just a great coordination surrounding him and their ability to isolate the site in that last round and get the easy defuse plan.
Both times it does look like Millenium has just been caught in the wrong way. Even though Millenium does have quite a pretty high number of frags, they've got 5 kills over 2 rounds, so it's not like they've been beaten down that badly. It's just that Secret are so good at the way that they play this game and the way that they play their game in particular. They are precise, and that would probably be the word that I would use to describe this. There's a lot of precision in the hands of Secret. Meepy is a very strong and potent IGL who is just, he doesn't make a lot of wrong calls. It's a very cerebral player, I would describe it as, and he knows how to get an awful lot, and possibly even the most, out of his team, and plucking Leon Gids from, I wouldn't say relative obscurity, but somewhat obscurity here is, well, it almost looked like he was able to get gonna get a bullet pen kill all the way down. Rise says hello. Leon Gids says goodbye. A nice 1-tap from the dock. Leon Gids was trying to do the exact same thing, but Leon just couldn't land it the way that Rise could.
Beautiful shot. Maverick gone means that, well, nothing too particular, honestly. You still have the hard destruction from the Thermite. Just means your top fragger and one of your most... Another one! That was another 1-tap. We didn't get to see it, but 2 for Rise, seemingly on the same angle, and it was a Glass who looked to have been trying to cross. You don't often see a sprint across the doorway actually result in a kill, but Rise is just hitting his shots right now, and Secret are paying the price.
I'm just adding to this. I can't believe you end up with the 2 operators that are so crucial to Secret's killing potential being taken out of action. And there you go. Aces is going to find another kill for Millenium, but his first, that'll be Lackey down below. The Zofia saw the leg of the Jaeger, but I don't know what the hesitation there was on the part of Lackey. That's going to leave a lot of weight to be shouldered by both the Thermite as well as the Capital, and Steezy's going to get doubled up upon. Rise with an MP5, still putting it to good use. He's just going to be able to heal himself right back up. One of the advantages of the dock, can't go for 2, tries to get the cross. Meepy will lose half his HP. He'll push in to secure the kill. Liven's got him on heartbeat though, and with that cardiac sensor, we'll know that there's one playing underneath 90. Also keep in mind that Steezy, very little HP left.
When Shiro goes for the pre-fire, like you said, he knows his opponent is lit. Ace is able to get Steezy a second kill in the round, and he'll get a 3rd, in fact, as Meepy goes down. One of the most dominant rounds we've seen so far in the match. All really stemming from Rise's 2 kills on that balcony. Really easily put together as well. Well done to Millenium getting their very first one. They definitely needed that. Following the 2 kills that Rise managed to get on that balcony, though, there wasn't a whole lot of response from Secret, and they were completely stumped when they went for that AWOL push. They tried to Thermite it open, the Mute Jammers were in a great position, and then when the push came from Zofia downstairs, oh, look at that. You've got a player ready and waiting to kill you as you start that push in through the front door.
I really like the coordination that we saw from Millenium there. Probably the most coordinated round that they've had. As you said, one of the best rounds, but also it was on point. You could see their aces fed the call from Fountain. Meepy just trying to creep up as quickly as I guess you can at that speed. Aces with a great shot, and the second Aces in Pro League, of course, not to be confused with the Aces who plays on Fnatic. He'll tie Leon Gids currently with 5 kills as they sit atop their respective scoreboards. Secret very top heavy though, as both Steezy and Alems haven't been able to find their first frags yet. For Alems, he's been getting killed very early on, especially 2 rounds as Glaz being one of the first people to be removed from the round in particular. You're not going to get a lot of value out of your Glaz there. Though Glaz is very interesting on border, don't always see a lot of teams running a Glaz on border unless they're attacking Armory, in large part because most of border is a little bit more CQC, a little bit more close quarters than other maps like you possibly see on Consular, you possibly see on Bank or Villa or Coastline, etc. So
attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
You can still make the smoke glass strategy work. It's just a lot more difficult at that close range.
Yeah, it's Armory wall where you're going to see it. Noble runs a very heavy glass strat as well when attacking upstairs on that Armory wall, with Crazy being the person on glass there to try and do as much damage as possible. But he's not even the most interesting operator that's being trotted out. Liven is going to go with the Capkin instead, possibly thinking that Secret might be a bit too quick to catch them off guard with those 5 EDDs.
I mean, that's usually the mentality with Capcan. It's just, hey, they're not going to be checking their corners. They're going to be playing really aggressively. Let's see if we can't get some free damage out. I'm not sure that it's going to aid them too much here, though. As you talked about earlier, Secret is a very precise team. They find their openings and they seize them, and they usually are diligent in scanning the doorways for Capcan traps. No, that could prove different in this round. We'll find out. Looks like we're going to be going for the bandit batteries early on. Leon will take out one on the far wall, and doesn't look like there's many pre-placed. In fact, only one pre-placed from Aces, and it will be already gone. He's unable to trick the thermite charge as it comes out. The castle barricade being gone means that the pressure from CCTV is very much a real thing. Unreinforced walls there meaning that Aces cannot stay in the position and will be forced to drop. Steezy is actually exposed right now to Aces, though he doesn't know it. And as he comes off drone, now Aces is the one in the predicament. Pressure from Passport, that's Lackey specifically, could easily net a free kill onto the roaming bandit.
They've at least used one of the smokes and burned that within the first half of this round, which is pretty decent timing for the defense. We'll see what Aces can accomplish as he goes towards Passport, expecting a Zofia. Looked a little too high, but snaps right down, and then MP7 will outduel the assault rifle that Lackey brings with the Zofia. That's a couple gadgets from Lackey that won't be available for the next minute. Might possibly help the defenders an awful lot in how they're able to hold out on this push. They'll go to drones, though, as Aces still sits quite safely inside of Tellers. He does have a soft wall next to the bookcase, but can't land the shots onto the drone. Under pressure, you can see the nerve sitting in as he just simply moves. You've got 2 sights trained on him. There's the thermite and Aces. A great job. Can he get the glass? No, Alems is there. He'll lose some of his HP. Rise will manage to finish off the aggressive Leon Gids Meepy from Rise, so 2 for the Jaeger will leave Alems last man up. He'll confront the other Spetsnaz operator of Superliven as Alems, the final casualty for Secret, and we are all tied.
Did you notice he evolved from not Liven to Super Liven?
He was like, he was going, what is this, LZP. I don't think I've ever actually casted him as just Liven. He was LZP, then he went to not Liven, then he was like Super Liven. I don't know if I've ever, I mean, I think there might have actually been 1 or 2 days of the Paris Major where he was just Liven, but.
So he was, for a while, not even a Liven, and now he has become the best of Livens, apparently.
Not Liven to Super Liven.
And he has, with his team, netted 2 rounds in a row in response to Secret's 2 in a row. So this second place team and this third place team, well, was third place, now is fourth place. Yes. But these teams that are oh so close are proving that now in this match. The strategy and the gunplay, both from each side, have been excellent, to say the least. Ace is having a little bit of a struggle with that drone, but he did manage to get quite a few kills.
So. I think his priority was just simply staying alive.
Yeah.
Persevere,
oh,
right? You know?
Oh, definitely.
It's like that old scene from Tropic Thunder, just survive, as he's trying to run away from the drone, knowing that there was at least one other player by the teller's window there. That'll also mark, by the way, as we move past bathroom, every single site has now seen usage, which is quite common in a game where Millenium will play. They have a very diverse pool of sites that they can go to. They'll usually run most sites instead of just going back to the old staples. In fact, they were the team that ran bathroom tellers in DreamHack Montreal. It was the first usage that we actually got to see on camera between these teams. They'll also trot out a clash. Hicks will move on to the support operator, leaving the fragging in the potential or in the very capable hands of Liven, as well as Rise, who Rise had a good round as well the last time, being able to pick up 2 kills, and especially by being able to silence Leon Gids. That's always a priority.
Got a lot of high talents on both of these teams, and you're going to have individuals just step up in the moment. Rise is going to eat a few bullets early on, and Alems will get a nice shot onto Super Liven. As he goes down, Secret already having a pretty decent start. Leon trying to make it easier for his teammates to work their way into jail, and he will be successful. And at least the prone hole from Steezy opened up, but it doesn't seem to be a huge priority right now for Secret to push into jail. It's an important position to control, sure, but with the reinforced barricades, it becomes a lot of utility you have to spend in order to establish that control.
Yeah. So, first focus is going to be on the break room upstairs. East stairs has Lackey.
Oh no!
But no Lackey! Oh man! Goes onto his drone, and Rise gets an absolute freebie. Unideal timing for the Zofia, and that will be Lackey 2 rounds in a row as Rise tries to take out both of the drones. You also notice that Alems and Meepy have lost quite a bit of health. They're on those flashing red bars, very similar, as now Steezy has too. So most of Secret have been softened up. Liven was, of course, gone, so Rise will have to do most of the fragging off-site. Renshiro was the last man alive for Millenium the last time they defended on this site. Aces has wisely positioned from the bathroom closer in towards Workshop, and he's going to use that ACOG to good use.
Aces will go down, though, attempting to do so. Leon, an excellent shot, and another one onto Rise as he drops. Renshiro from the front door playing aggressive as we've seen him do before. It'll make it work for him this time. 3 lit attackers. They have the man advantage, but against a shield and a full HP castle as well, with the diffuser down by the front door, this could be winnable for Millenium. All they need to do is zone that diffuser. They know they have it, and they're waiting for the inevitable push. They know also that most of the attackers are coming from inside the building. It seems that they're not really worried about the front door at all, and rightfully so. Secret does not have time to adjust and come from the flanks of these defending Millenium players. They're just going to have to confront them through the workshop. Hicks with the pistol out will go for the shots, and he will land them. Leon goes down, an unfortunate set of circumstances for Secret, and it's getting even worse as Renshiro takes out Meepy, putting this into a 1-on-2. Alems will win the gunfight against Renshiro, though, a very important one. But Hicks can now easily kite his opponent. Flashes are going to be successful. That full glass shield not able to block the visual cues, and Alems with the rush, thanks to Hicks being out of commission, will just secure the final one. Secret take the round, and they win the first half.
And a good way to do it, and you just show that 3 speeds have a pretty good advantage against the shield for that specific reason. That was a long blind as well, as there was 0 cover for Hicks to look away and just couldn't see a single thing. And just even being able to melee that shield and hip firing away is typically the play when it comes to Clash. So it was a very winnable situation for Millenium. That round really could have gone either way as we looked down. You know, you had 3 members of Secret all stacked up inside a workshop trying to push towards the diffuser. Renshiro looked like he would be able to secure a second kill, but it wasn't in the cards for him. And then Clash, hard to play around angles with Clash against an Ashe. Had it been possibly any of the other operators, he could have walked away with it, especially the Maverick. But there was three speeds remaining. There's a Capitao, an Ashe, and a Maverick. They're all 3 speeds, so would have been very difficult for Hicks to be able to zone effectively, as you said, and easier for Secret to close that gap. Now Millenium will go on to attack, and Secret on to the defense here. Secret tends to thrive on defenses where they don't get overtly aggressive and have Leon peek every single thing. For Millenium, they'll bring a ton of utility and some hard destruction to boot. They're not going to be running the Hibana. We're going to see a Thermite Maverick combo, which is what we saw was pretty commonplace on Secret as well. And just to top it all off, suppressor on the Alda of Meepy because the suppressor seems to dramatically lower the recoil on the Alda at the moment. So that's something that anybody curious as to why you see quite a healthy portion of Maestros using that, well, there you have it. There is your answer.
I have heard a lot of people claiming that, and I've also seen a lot of people just using that suppressor. So it seems to be an accurate rumor, if nothing else. Definitely want to try it myself though before I get behind that one. Something to experiment with, I'm sure. Now, Secret have a very good lineup to hold this out. They've got a lot of indirect denial with the Maestro Echo and the smoke. And since it seems to be an A-wall attack for Millenium, this is about the perfect defensive lineup to stop that. They even have the Bandit as the first layer of defense there with the charges on that A-wall. Though, of course, that is being dealt with thanks to Zofia downstairs, and they will be able to open up now that A-wall using the Thermite. Meepy will TK Steezy, so it's a great start for Secret already as the Bandit rotating is caught in the crossfire. When Shiro's got that flank watch down, Pat, and he's just going to be denying anyone pushing through the hallway. Alems, you could see, is prepped and ready at any moment to spring into action on the flank, but I'm sure Millenium will not relent there. Secret now just looking to delay as much as possible. Luckily, they didn't lose any of their indirect denial, so they still can hold this push with relative ease. But here comes the utility from Millenium.
Tossing in a bunch of flashbangs. You saw there's going to be 2 blasts from that lifeline in terms of concussion being used. This is a smart spot for Leon Gids. Look at that. On top of the filing cabinet, so it can't be shot at and likely cannot be seen, as well as it's got a box in front of it for a bit of cover. It's like the hottest tag team on in all the land. They'll tag in the second Yokai drone as it heads towards that main wall. You got Maverick of Aces opening up just a line of sight. Leon Gids will lose at least one of the Yokais as Renshiro now dumps in his second Candela. He goes hunting, he sees the head of Meepy for just a second, but Leon Gids is there to trade it off. And Lackey pushes up from the bomb, so even with the team kill, you can see Secret draw even. Keep in mind that with Leon Gids still alive, there is still a Yokai very much in play, but Liven will see it and realize that he can't quite go for the shot that he needs to.
Aces waiting for his opportunity. That Yokai is doing so much work. Excellent job to Leon making it happen. It's not even going to be final. Oh, wow. What a play from him. You could see that Liven is doing his best to try and dispatch it, but it's just not going to happen. As the time dwindles down to the last 10 seconds, Hicks is going to force his way into the site and take out Alems. Lackey's still in a perfect denial position. He'll whip out the shotgun to make it happen, and it looks like he's going to not be successful. Aces will finish him off. The Yokai drone, though, from Leon will deny the plant in the final seconds. Oh, so much damage done from that one Yokai, and they knew it was there for almost the entire round. Ah.
I feel
but
like
they couldn't stop it.
I feel like that's payback, though, for the amount of times that Millenium have done similar things with a Yokai drone. Rise in particular, I think back very fondly to on Coastline when they kept the Yokai drone underneath the pool table and popped it up and were able to stop the plant dead in its tracks. So,
can I just say also that that Yokai drone is now going to be absolutely everywhere. That's now a staple Yokai drone in ranked. Make sure you check the lockers in Armory every time you're pushing a wall. So, well done indeed to Leon. That's a great spot, and it had to have been diligently researched. Those are the types of little things that you don't see every day that get brought out when one team who studies up hard goes up against an opponent they know that they need resources. They know they need some kind of advantage against. And I'd say Secret is right, considering how close this has been. The scoreline is a bit deceiving, 4-2, but it has been a close one. Now Millenium will have to attack onto ventilation next. Secret going to much more, the more conventional sites on order so far.
Yeah. 4-2 scoreline, as you said, doesn't really tell that same story, especially when 2 of those rounds could have very easily gone in Millenium's favor. But didn't end up playing out that way, and it's always fun to speculate on how this would play out differently, especially if it was a tie 3-3. But It's the reality that we're in. It's also very rare to see Secret choke leads and throw them away. It did happen, if I remember, against SK in Montreal, but they're usually pretty good at being able to close games out, because they're one of the most common collected teams under pressure. As long as there's no tilt factor really setting in to hurt Secret, they tend to keep a level head and keep everybody playing in check. Ventilation Workshop, the defensive site for round number 7. Millenium's first focus is going to be on that armory wall, and then also CCTV. You've got Aces playing the Maverick, who was brought out by Millenium last time around. They had him on that armory wall. But Lackey will find the first kill of the round. It comes in about 50 seconds in with Renshiro of the Ying. And Ying is usually good for possibly 1 to 2 kills as long as you can structure your push correctly. So that's going to be a huge detriment for Millenium.
Yeah, Renshiro did a ton of work on that last push, and they didn't win it, but he still put in the work. So having him be gone is definitely going to hurt them. Hicks going to open up that jail wall. It's a good amount of control that will be established, and after that, you can easily push into stock, and from there, you can open up the wall that faces into the server, which gives you a good line of sight to cut off rotations between the sites. But he is also carrying the diffuser. So a bit of a dangerous push here with the diffuser in tow. You generally want to leave that to someone who isn't going to be pushing in here. And the reason being, of course, is you're not in a great spot to plant from here. Usually you would make this push to cut off the rotation and just, get some kills, but not as the planter. You can see that Mibi is playing that angle to try and counter the push from stock and try and deny that angle in the first place. Leon will take out Rise, and Lem's on this Liven means that it's just Aces and Hicks in a 2 versus 5. Free fire here from Hicks, but he's not going to be able to make it work. And he's going to have to find so many more opponents after that Yokai drone has been destroyed that with 40 seconds left, this does not look great for Millenium.
Not at all. Not a lot of utility, just pure fragging potential. I mean, they've still got the 2 hard destructors, no exothermic charges for Hicks. It doesn't even look like Aces has used the blowtorch at all, so I mean, you don't really necessarily need it that much. A lot of times you'd probably use it on the back wall over by bathroom, but this is going to be an almost insurmountable task. Aces will almost make it work before Leon Gids is there to get his teammate, and Lems, who'd gotten one earlier on. The Jaeger playing inside of Ventilation will send us to match point in favor of Secret in what has been a match that I think probably could have been a little bit closer than we see the current result.
We said it earlier. I mean, it's true that this has been a lot closer than the scoreline is telling us, but also ultimately a round lost is a round lost, and Millenium are certainly losing right now. Customs is going to be the next site for Secret, as they have been successful everywhere they have gone on defense. They're going to have to go to their 3rd site. One thing I do notice, again, I touched on this earlier, Secret's site selection is about as conventional as it comes versus Millenium's, which was, well, of course, on border it had the typical stuff, but it didn't start with the typical. We went Ventilation first, and then Customs as a second, and then also Tellers at one point. So Secret a lot more in line with the meta, and it's been working out for them pretty well so far. Also, and this is really big, Maverick on Millenium has not been perfectly utilized, in my opinion. And on Secret, again, I will say that Leon used that Maverick excellent.
Steezy still trying to find his first kill, but the team doesn't really need it right now as they're up 5-2. And
it's kind of hilarious that
at worst, they'll walk away with 1 point, which is Secret still trying to keep that distance close between them and G2. But like I said, for Millenium, this is a very important matchup. EU is just so competitive at the top right now that there's only 2 spots available for Rio. You want to ensure that, there you go. You got it this time, Leon. Look at you. There you go. He'll get it down this time.
So proud of him.
He'll get it down this time to put the Evil Eye up top as we go over to Customs. So every single site has been played at least once except for Bathroom Tellers.
Isn't it crazy? Oh, whoa. That's an early kill. Aces catching the rotation, it seems, of a Lems between CCTV and what? He must have ran. Okay, so yeah, he caught the rotation. Must have been running from Armory through the CCTV door and then stumbled a lot. The corpses tend to do that. Now, that's a really important kill early on. That's going to lighten the load when you're pushing into CCTV, which is an essential part of any attack on this site. That is also an essential way to hold the site. Hick's going to be bringing out the fuse shield with the PMM laser sight. And this is something that he in particular is known for. Not many other players can actually make this work. It's not easy, but somehow Hicks manages to do it, and he's done it before, specifically on border.
Hicks is a pretty good shot, and the PMM has such high damage that as long as you can get like 1 or 2 kills, that's worthwhile.
Oh.
Look at this! Oh man, Meepy outside picks up a double. Aces and Hicks trying to repel a great read from the Bandit. Maybe losing a huge amount of health, but that was sure worthwhile on match point. The Fuse and the Maverick both gone.
Reloading.
And we still have half of the round yet to go. So the attackers, they have time, but do they have the power now after losing so many players so easily? A great position here from Leon could actually net a kill, but no, it's the opposite. Rise manages to win it. A nice shot indeed on the very mobile Maverick, or rather, our Maestro in the cafeteria. With 1 minute left, Millenium have equalized, and they're just looking to find as many kills as they can before they make the final push. The diffuser being down, something they're going to have to pay attention to moving forward, but they now have CCTV control, which is absolutely monumental. It means that the push into A is going to be pretty easily once it eventually comes.
And I mean, this is still very winnable right now for Millenium with good fragging potential. They'll extend just a small lead as they take out Lackey. Renshiro with a couple shots onto the smoke. They'll leave Steezy and Meepy both there. Now, Rise will get down from above. Meepy won't get credited with the kill, but you can see Renshiro now under fire from the Ella. And there you go. Steezy will down Renshiro and finish him off in a 2v2. Rise is down. Will need to get picked back to life from the Thermite, but very vulnerable here. If Steezy can read this correctly, they'll be able to get the kill, but Rise will finish off Meepy, and no, Steezy will look the wrong way. Millenium will, for the time being, stay alive as Liven gets the very final kill with his sidearm, then just drops Steezy.
That really seemed like it was going to be a recovery from Team Secret. They had all the stars starting to align, but just barely missing out on the opportunity there with the downed Ash. And we will see, as you said, Millenium keep themselves in the match. And they're going to have to do that for 2 more rounds if they want the draw. And then we'll be going on to an attack for Armory Locker's defense here. We've gone pretty much full circle, and Secret were defending Armory the very first round of this match, and they will now defend it for the 4th. Or, pardon me, of this match, of the second half of this match. The operator selection, yet again, from Team Secret is pretty stellar. They are going to be pushing off of a Bandit seemingly to a Mute. Interesting 6-pick. I mean, not a bad idea. It just makes you a little bit more reliant on the vertical play. It also means that that initial layer of defense is non-existent on the A wall, should that be where Millenium chooses to attack from. More interesting, though, is that Millenium has brought a Montaigne to play. And he's not exactly that in the meta these days, but he can definitely be worked to make wonders.
I mean, this is the second time we're seeing a shield in a row from Millenium on attack. I mean, the Fuse didn't really work out, but Montaigne, I would assume, is going to come out very differently. Armory upstairs is a pretty decent spot for a Montaigne, especially if you want to go through an Archives push. That's probably where I would imagine we're going to see Millenium stack up. Possibly have him go alongside the Thermite, maybe the Glaz on Armory wall with the Maverick, and then have Ash go to Archives as well. I think it's a pretty decent possibility and good usage of your chess pieces for Millenium. Still match point, though, for Team Secret. On round number 9, Millenium can only fight for a draw here. Secret obviously wanting to try to maximize the amount of points they walk away with. They get 1 so far. They possibly stretch that to 3 points if they end up winning this or the next round.
So clear in CCTV is very telling of an A wall take, and it seems to be that Millenium want to do just that, because the Ace is aware of his opponent, about as far away from the building as you can get in this map. definitely cautious, and rightfully so. If he leaves himself open to his opponents, I all but guarantee that Secret will capitalize. Now they have managed to open up that A wall, which is a absolutely fantastic position to have open. However, yet again, the layers and layers and layers of defense have been set up from Secret. They've got the Evil Eye, they've got the Yokai drones. Now, luckily, Millenium has the gift of knowledge this time, and they are aware that the Yokai is going to be placed where it's placed ahead of time, but will they be able to deal with it is the real question. Lems will go down as he attempts to flank. We talked about it earlier that that flank is really shored up from the defense or from the attack. Once they have control of CCTV, there's not really a lot of opportunities there for Secret. This is really big though. CZ able to, if nothing else, call out information for his team.
There's a bit of confusion there as to Lem saying he didn't really know how he was dying at all, but there you go. Liven saying he saw the leg of a Lems and able to dispatch the Jaeger, as the Yokai will be a huge issue. And would you look at that? The Yokai is back up, and unfortunately, we will be a connection too slow, and it'll come back to us for just a second here. Unfortunate not to get to see the way that that played out, but you have the Yokai drone up on top of that metal scaffolding or the metal cabinet up there. As you mentioned, you're probably going to see that an awful lot in ranked and other competitive levels of play, as it's a really tricky spot to get to the Yokai drone at. Yeah,
and that whole situation was shaping up like it could have gone either way. Really unfortunate that we didn't actually get to see how it will play out, but it will almost certainly play out. And we will have our outcome after we get everything sorted out. Could be that Secret manages to take the win. It could be that Millenium starts their comeback. We'll find out, I guess, in just a second. It looks like, actually, we have it for you guys. So we'll jump right back in. Looks like we were able to reconnect. No rehost necessary. And though you did miss it, and we did as well, it seems that Millenium kept us in the fight. And I gotta say, I'm actually really happy that it didn't end on that note. Would have been a little bit awkward.
Yeah, that would have been tough, a bit anticlimactic between these two teams. But I guess that Secret Yokai spot of Leon Kids didn't exactly have as much of an impact as you would have imagined, because Millenium did wind up winning that round.
I guess it's not Secret anymore. It's the...
Attackers need to locate.
I was about to make more Secret puns. I'm just going to stop myself. Defensive ventilation now here for Secret. Interesting that they're going to go to ventilation when they could have gone to armory again. I guess they're just figuring they need to keep the ball moving, or try to just keep their enemy in a bad position, give them something more to think about. But I mean, we've been to ventilation before. Gotta imagine if CZ is able to get, you know, a couple more kills, this might be a lockout here for Secret, but Millenium is really fighting for a draw. They don't want to lose any potential points that they could manage to eke out here.
Now, Millenium's also been playing a lot more aggressive, and that's been something that's been benefiting them by quite a healthy margin, is that they've picked up the pace. We saw them and their fortunes increase when they did that in Montreal. It's no surprise to see it go up against Secret, especially, as I said, Secret tends to be one of those teams that are very susceptible to aggression. They don't really know how to combat it all the time, and that obviously becomes a big problem for them. But still, match point for Secret. They could still lock this one away.
In the default cam there for Aces, and control over CCTV is already established, and it will put a lot of pressure onto any of the roamers that are inside of customs. So that horizontal roam has just been shut down within a minute. Well done to Aces. And he's not going to stick on it, but he doesn't really need to. As long as the drop down's open and the defenders know that they did not open the drop, that means that, hey, the pressure is there, and there's not a whole lot that Secret can do about it. It means that they're going to have to be wary every single time they move that way.
They're just trying to set, it looks like they're just trying to set up drones here, possibly for a flank watch. If Aces goes to try and take that hatch that's inside of the small office, if anybody else is going to push up there, because, you know, Maverick is very vulnerable when he's trying to take out a hatch. As was mentioned at the very start of the broadcast while going over those patch notes, the way that hatches function now are that you can cut holes in them to see through But it takes a little bit of work for you to actually be able to blow the hatch open of your Maverick. Very bonding to land for those 6 XK. I really like what we just saw there. Lackey got spotted inside of bathrooms and now has to move, or inside of tellers rather, as that wall's been opened up by the breach round of Rise.
He's got a lot of control here from Customs, but it's not really mattering. As you can see, Secret have fallen off pretty reliably. These marks have been coming out, and obviously the information is there. Seems like it's going to be a B push, but there's still a player on the defense inside of B, and that's a Lems. Vertical pressure being established. As you can see, the defenders are above. That's Steezy trying to support his teammate. Liven able to get the first kill of the round, though, on Steezy. That was the player, again, above in Armory. And Liven gets another as Hicks takes out a Lems. It's looking great for Millenium. Maybe we'll shut down Renshiro, but it's all too little too late, as Leon, the final defender against 4, will not be able to make it happen. Millenium get the draw, and neither team will be walking away from that overly happy.
Yeah, that's for Millenium. They needed the win there. I mean, I'd be happy to take that 1 point given the fact that you were trailing 5-2 for a brief stretch, but 3 consecutive rounds as Leon, Gids, Aces, and Rise will all break double digits. Despite the fact that we didn't get to see the end of round 9, we still got to see the fact that this match ended in a draw. Also, deprived of an interview somewhat sadly.
Yeah, those guys are always, both the Millenium and, well, especially Millenium, and also Secret are always fun to talk to and to see what they have to say. But yeah, that was just as close as I think we all thought it would be. Two of the better teams in Europe, in second and, well, what was third place for Millenium, and yeah,